What's up, y'all? This your boy, the Black Akashi, the silent gamer of YouTube, and I'm here to talk about my top 10 games of 2013. If this is your first time here, I decided that just doing a top 10 games of the decade would be unfair because there were so many bangers from 2010 to now. And my honorable mentions are GTA 5, Rayman Legends, and Storm 3. So without further ado, let's get to it. Number 10, Walking Dead Season 2. The second season of Telltale's popular franchise. You play as our surrogate daughter, Clementine, as she tries to survive on her own after the painful events of the first season. You meet old and new characters in the game, and it's still good, just not as impactful as the first season. Number 9, Tomb Raider. This franchise was long overdue for a reboot, and Square Enix picked the best time to do it. Seeing how popular the Uncharted franchise was, they decided to make the gameplay more like it, and it really paid off because they got a whole trilogy out of it. I've played this game numerous times on my 360 and my Xbox One, and I 100%ed both of them. You play as Lara Croft before she became the badass that most people know. So, the brutality they had Lara endure was painful. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. Laura. I said, it's not like I'm saying Lara Croft. The brutality they had Lara. The brutality had her endure was painful. They really went out on a limb to give her gruesome deaths. You can look them up on YouTube if you don't believe me. Story and gameplay wise, I'd put it up there with the Uncharted franchise, but I'm not saying it's as good as it, but it's still pretty damn good. Number 8, The Wolf Among Us. Telltale's second best game they've made in a while, and is the second most popular of the bunch. You play as the big bad wolf, Wolf Bigby, set in the Fabletown, and you solve the murder of a certain character, and the conspiracy gets deeper and deeper as you go process through the game. This game got even more bigger thanks to the legend himself. It's Real 85 and his legendary intro to the game.
Turn up. Turn up. Turn up. Shibbidi-bidi-boo. It's Fabletown. The Wolf Among Us. Art direction David Bogan. Environments Kim Lyons. Choreography Bram Antonon. Music by Jared Emerson Johnson.
He's my favorite YouTuber when it comes to playing Telltale games because he always picks the asshole and savage choices, and plus he's funny as fuck. If you've never played the game, then shame on you, and it doesn't even cost that much, and hopefully we still get that sequel despite Telltale being shut down, because I need the Fabletown Savage to come back. Number 7, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. What started off as an experiment in Assassin's Creed 3, Ubisoft pulled the trigger and made a pirate game. In my opinion, it was the best Assassin's Creed game to come out in a while when it comes to, story and gameplay wise. Edward Kenway, legendary pirate turned assassin, gave off that Ezio vibe that many fans missed, and the story helped with that too. My favorite aspect of the game was the pirate moments, when you would get into ship battles. I think the reason I liked it so much was because of how different it was and how much it separated itself from the game. Instead of just, following somebody, running from top buildings, assassinate them, run from the cops, or run from the people and hide in plain sight. Like that, the whole pirate thing, the pirate battle shit, it separated, made it different. And, that's why it was so much fun to me. And you got to experience the pirate life, which was a great moment for me as well. And the ending of the game was also heartbreaking too. Like, I love this game so much, and it's the only Assassin's Creed game I like after 3. Not saying the others are bad, don't get me wrong. Number 6, Batman Arkham Origins. One of my favorite games out of the Arkham franchise, and is highly underrated. Craig Smith and Troy Baker did a great job voicing the iconic Batman and Joker. One of my favorite lines from Craig Smith's Batman was when he was talking to Alfred after his encounter with Bane, and Batman, he was like, "I am the reason the criminals breathe easier when the sun rises." Like, that's literally one of the best ways to describe Batman. That's literally, that whole speech was the best way to describe Batman and how much of an impact he is to the people of Gotham and the criminals of Gotham as well. You play as a young Batman on Christmas Eve, avoiding the world's deadliest assassins because Black Mask put a hit out on you, and you have to beat them all and stop Black Mask as well. An origin story between Batman and Joker's relation. The advertising for this game was amazing as well. From that one trailer that showed Bruce growing up from watching his parents get murdered, to him fighting all the way up to him being Batman. It was still beautiful and still beautiful to this day. And one of my all-time favorite trailers for the game was the one where was him fighting Deathstroke. Like, that's still one of the best trailers for a Batman game ever. Now, if we could get that scene in live action, that would be so beautiful. Now, the reason some people don't like it is because it didn't add anything new to the franchise. Like, he literally has everything he had in Arkham City, except for like one new thing, which was the detective mode thing that allows you to play out the crimes and rewind the crime scenes and all that stuff. If you see it in Arkham Knight and you see it in the Telltale Batman game, if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But people really should respect this game more because it has one of the best stories in the series, in my opinion. Besides the whole twist thing with the Joker and stuff, they should have just kept it as Black Mask. But people really, you know, this game was like one of the first games I ever bought a season pass for, and one of the first games I ever and the first time I ever 100% an Arkham game, and I've been doing it for every single one of them. This game is canon whether you want to believe it or not. Arkham Knight has hinted at it numerous times, even though it wasn't included in the Return to Arkham bundle. Number 5, Kingdom Hearts 1.5. Now, I'm cheating with another game because I recently played Kingdom Hearts 1.5. I was stretching. I recently beat Kingdom Hearts 1.5 on my PS4 because, you know, I never played the Kingdom Hearts games, but I've always been a fan of the franchise because of the second game. I remember seeing the commercials for it. You know, the whole "If you walk away, you won't hear me sing," all that crap. I remember being so hyped and playing it, to seeing that, and me and my friend would talk about Kingdom Hearts 2 because he played it, and you know. So anyway, story time. I remember renting the second one from Blockbuster. Yeah, I'm that old. And I got home, popped the game in my disc, in my brother's PS2, and I could not play, bro. Like I literally could not press the start button. Like, that's how painful it was. I could not press. Like, they literally was not letting me play it. It was all because of the type of PlayStation controller I had. Wait a minute, no. Now I think about it, I think I could press start. I just couldn't move the control. I just couldn't move it. Like, it made me so mad, bro, because this was back when, you know, you could use any type of controller to play a PS2 game. And like only, you know, certain games they needed the DualShock 2. Like, I was so heartbroken and I had to return it. So long story short, it took me almost 14 years to finally play the Kingdom Hearts franchise. You play as the main character Sora, and you're trying to save your friends from the Heartless while meeting Disney characters in the process. Now, I didn't believe that Donald was useless meme until I actually experienced it myself. This man is so stressful sometimes, bruh. And who can forget the most frustrating moments in the game? Sephiroth and the Sith Lord Xemnas. You literally cannot beat those two without reaching level 100. I'm not kidding. If you beat those two, I promise you, the actual final boss of the game is ass compared to those two. Like, you can literally beat him on the first try. Like, one of my favorite things to do was sitting at the menu screen and hearing Dearly Beloved for like hours. It's literally one of the best songs in gaming history. Number 4, Injustice: Gods Among Us. After the disappointing MK vs. DC, NetherRealm decided to take a break from the superhero game. 5 years later, and they came back with a vengeance with this game. Set in an alternate universe where Superman becomes evil and a ruler of Earth. Easily one of the best superhero games to come out and one of the best fighters, and showed why NetherRealm earned the title of best company with great fighting game stories. This was literally the first fighting game that I became a god in. I knew every character's fighting style and their moves, so I was able to read my opponents and know their attacks. Like, that's one of the key things about becoming a pro in fighting games. You literally gotta practice each character that you're not gonna main, so that you know their their attacks and how to counter them. Like, I could literally tell what move you were gonna do as you were doing it. Like, I would block every single move. And if I didn't block it, it's because I let you. I was a beast with Green Arrow and Nightwing. Like, they were practically my mains besides, Flash, Superman, and Batman. But like, no cap, I think I was one of the first people to show that Green Arrow was a beast long before that one guy showed it off at EVO that one year. Like, I was already beasting with him long before I stumbled upon that tournament. I had like a 15-20 game winning streak with him. Like, like I was that good with him. The Injustice okay, hold on, one second. I just remembered something. I remember playing against somebody online, and I was playing with him as Green Arrow. It was a Green Arrow battle, and I was completely washing this nigga. So after I beat him, he got into an argument with me, talking about how I'm a cheater, I'm a spammer, and all that other bullshit. I'm like, nigga, I'm just pulling off combos. Not my fault you trashed the game. And then he want to say something like, one of the funny things, this was back before LeBron bought a title to Cleveland. He said, I'm from Cleveland, boy. All we know is winning. Or he said something, he mentioned Cleveland. He said something like he was, I think I still got the message on my Xbox. But anyway, I countered back at him and I was like, boy, I know you not talking about winning. Boy, you from Cleveland. Y'all ain't had a win since 1959, boy. Get out of my messages with that bullshit. He ain't say nothing after that. That shit really drove me, bro. I'm like, nigga, you from Cleveland, bro. You talking about winning. Cleveland ain't had a win in years. Last time Cleveland had a win, Jesus died for our sins and rose from the grave. Like, come on, boy, get up out of here with that. Anyway, the Injustice comics are really good, and if you want to see what happened before and after the game. I'm currently on year 4 and loving every single moment. Number 3, DMC. Yes, the Devil May Cry reboot that everyone hates. This was my first Devil May Cry game that I ever played, so I didn't really understand the hatred. I'm currently playing the Devil May Cry HD collection. I'm like on the second one right now, and I'm enjoying it so far. But, I still like the reboot. This is one of my favorite hack and slash games from the fast gameplay and the crazy combos you can pull off. I played this game on my 360 and I own the definitive edition of it on the Xbox One. Now, I really hope we get a sequel to this game because this is a great game that made me a franchise. This is a great game that made me a fan of the franchise. So I feel like it would be right for them to make a sequel. I mean, the team that made Devil May Cry, Team Ninja, whatever their name is, the original creators of Devil May Cry, they said that they wanted to make a sequel to that game before making Devil May Cry, but they figured the smart play would be to go back to the original franchise first. Number 2, BioShock Infinite. Another sequel that I played first, long before the original games. This is easily one of the most hyped and controversial games in the franchise. Now I love this game, but I also understand that it was getting hyped like it was the best game to ever come out in the history of gaming. It's an incredibly beautiful game thanks to it being in the Sky City. The gameplay and the mechanics are what you would expect from a Bioshock game, and the story is really good. I hope we get another Bioshock game in the future set in Rapture, because that would be an instant seller for people being back in Rapture City. Number 1 is easily The Last of Us, one of the greatest games to ever come out in the decade. Now, I played this game when it got remastered and loved every moment of it. Another great game in Naughty Dog's catalog, and is currently getting a sequel next year, so the hype is real. The relationship between Ellie and Joel is so amazing. In an apocalyptic world, you have to endure and survive. See what I did there? The onslaught of bandits, clickers, military, and heartbreak. One of the most beautiful moments in the game is with the giraffe. The DLC for the game was also really good and gives a hint to how Ellie became so important to the original story. Overall, a great game and deserves the praise it gets. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like, and I'll see you in 2014.